Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back, a new video of reviews and my point of view about these movies. And in this occasion I'm going to talk about the year 2000, the beginning of a new century uh, movie, which is X-Men, the very first one movie. That was launched in the year 2000. Of course, as always, I watched it way after it was released. You know, I was like a teenager, I guess. Honestly, I don't remember, but I watched the repetitions of this movie in different channels where it was transmitted, and I love it. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's very special for me, and I'm gonna start with my point of view in this occasion. Secondly, I'm gonna give you the full script and resume, and I'm gonna end up with the reviews the movie have back in those years. Okay, but please first of all, don't forget subscribing, leaving your thumbs up, and sharing the video wherever you want to, whatever network you want to. That will help me a lot, and that means a lot for me in order to keep doing new videos and for you to watch them. So I'm deciding doing this video with the background that I made for this channel. Sometimes I'm gonna switch the format of the video with a chroma background, like the last two videos I upload of Eat the Clown and Valentine, but those kind of videos took longer to do the edition. So I'm gonna be, experimenting and switching the different formats. This occasion, I'm gonna make this video with my original background that I made especially for my channel, which includes, pictures of like retro, especially pictures of retro figures, and of course Michael Myers. I love a lot this Canva because it's one of my favorite movies, and I will make, in fact, videos about that movie too, of Halloween. He's Michael Myers, and I don't know, I think it's cute. I was also planning to buy a poster of the character of Scream, the villain of the Scream, Ghostface, that was his name. I was trying to remember which was the villain of this movie name, but yeah, it was Ghostface. So I'm going to be alternating the backgrounds in my videos. Of course, I know that you like more the videos with a chroma background. It looks way more, I think it looks way more professional, or better, but it takes longer doing the edition of videos with the chroma background. So either way, let's start with the video. The X-Men movie, the first one, the very first one movie, is one of my favorites. I think it's my favorite because it's the movie that introduced us to the characters, the main characters of these comics, that were released in the 90s, in the decade of the 90s. And I like, starting for the name of the comic and the movies, which is X-Men. I love it because it's like a kind of tribute. It's like a kind of tribute or homage to the X generation, because what a coincidence that in these years it was the endings of the youth and adulthood of the X generation. So yeah, I got a feeling that was the idea of this generation. Maybe was the inspiration for the name, the X generation. And this is basically about humans that are mutants, and that have like superpowers, like the heroes of the movies, of all the Marvel universe or comics, but these are mutants, like they supposedly born these genes in their DNA, right? And the reason why I like this movie is because, like as mentioned, and the X professor is very like warm. He's very like he's very benevolent with the guys. Like he's very he's like a kind of father figure. He's like a father for the guys, for all the mutants that are looking for a refugee, that are looking for help, that are feeling persecuted, that are feeling pursued in a hostile world, right, where they are supposed to be like monsters, or they are considered as a threat for the rest of the humanity. So when they know about this place, about this mansion, and the ex-professor, they feel, first of all, like part of something, and they feel like protected, they feel like cared, they feel like, I don't know, many things that you can find in a community that is very welcoming. Yeah, welcoming with you. And I don't know, it's just like, I suppose I got a feeling that all the people that we saw these movies and the comics, but especially, I mean, I wasn't very engaged with the comics. I used to see them, but personally and honestly, I like more the movies. So I suppose I feel that it gives the people that feeling of being safe, right? Being in the right place, which is not common, especially nowadays. Lately, you don't feel like support, protected by, I don't know, it's weird. It's not common meeting people like this, or groups of people like this, I guess. uh, and I feel that, like, for example, like people that left their parents at a very young age, for some kind of reason, for whatever reason, maybe they suffered violence, or maybe the parents, I don't know, kicked them out or something. So this kind of, like, people, and these generations that we grown watching these movies and these comics, like, we might feel kind of identified, and yeah, it gives you that feeling of a brotherhood. Like, it's always healthy for the mind, for the body, for everything. Is a, I don't know how you can call it, like, it's a pleasing sensation, like seeing people that love each other, like a brotherhood. And this is what we see in this movie, right? And of all, like, honestly, I might talk about other comics, movies, or other superheroes movies like Spider-Man or whatever, but X-Men is, they are my favorite villains. They're my favorite heroes of all the comics. All the comics, they are my favorites. Like, that's my favorite movie. Is the one that I like. It's not of my generation because I was very little still, but I watched them as a teenager. All the movies, almost most of them, and I like them a lot. They were my favorites. Being all that said, Magneto begins his plans to leave the playing field between mutants and humans. Meanwhile, a girl named Marie, aka Rogue, runs away from her home in Meridian, Mississippi. She meets Logan, aka Wolverine, in Canada. Suddenly, both of them are attacked by Sabretooth, a mutant and associated of Magneto. Cyclops and Storm arrive and save Wolverine and Rogue and bring them to the X mansion. Professor Charles Xavier runs the facility and leads a group of mutants who are trying to seek peace with the human race, educate young mutants in the responsible use of their powers, and stop Magneto from starting a war with humanity are the ex-professor plans and mission. Adopted by Mystique and Toad, I call him, is better known as Frog, too, or as well. Adopted by Mystique and Toad, Senator Kelly is brought to Magneto, who tests a machine on him that artificially induces mutation. Toad Kelly managed to escape imprisonment with his new abilities. After an accident causes Rogue to use her powers on Wolverine, she is convinced by Mystique, transformed into Bobby, his actual wooer or boyfriend or something of Rogue. She transformed into Bobby to convince Rogue that the ex-professor is angry with her and that she should leave the school. She escapes the mansion, but then Xavier uses Cerebro, the machine he created along with Magneto in the past when they were colleagues, to locate Rogue at the train station. Mystique infiltrates Cerebro and sabotages the machine with a kind of poison that make the ex-professor, like, get this disease, like get sick or something. Something just happens with him. At the train station, Wolverine convinces Rogue to stay with Xavier in the mansion of the mutants, but a fight ensues when Magneto, Toad, and Sabretooth arrive to take Rogue. Arriving at Xavier's school, Kelly dissolves into a puddle of water when his mutation becomes unstable. The X-Men learn that Magneto intends to use Rogue's ability on himself to power the machine. Xavier attempts to use Cerebro again to locate Rogue, but he falls into a coma. Then Jean Grey fixes it and uses Cerebro to find Magneto machine on the Liberty statue, which is located on the Liberty Island, which Magneto intends to use on the world leaders who are meeting for a summit on nearby Ellis Island. Just as the group arrives at the top of the statue and kill Toad, Magneto and Sabretooth incapacitate the group and continue with their plans. Magneto transfers his powers to Rogue, who is forced to use them to start the machine. Then Wolverine breaks free the machine and initiates a fight with Sabretooth, but is thrown over the side of the statue. Wolverine returns and Cyclops with Jean's help blasts Sabretooth out of the statue. With Jean and stabilizing Logan, Storm uses her abilities to send him to the top of Magneto's machine. With time running out, Wolverine attempts to stop the machine and save Rogue, but Magneto, now having regained some of his strength, halts Wolverine's claws. Cyclops manages to find a clean shot, wounding Magneto and allowing Wolverine to destroy the machine. Placing his hands to her face, Wolverine succeeds in transferring his regenerative abilities to a dying Rogue. The ex-professor recovers from his coma and the group learns that Mystique is still alive after Wolverine stabbed her at the Liberty Island, when they see her impersonating Senator Kelly on a news broadcast, since Mystique has the ability of transforming into any other human she touches. Into any other human or mutant that she touches. In an attempt to help Wolverine learn more about his past, the ex-professor sends him to a military base near Alkali Lake. This lake will come to be very special because in the second movie is where we see Grey giving her life in order to save her brothers, right? Like the rest of the mutants by flying up the jet with her powers. Xavier visits Magneto in his plastic prison cell and the two play chess. Magneto warns his friend that he will continue his fight against the humans, to which Xavier promises that he and the X-Men will always be there to stop him. And this is the end. Now I'm gonna tell you the reception the movie had in these years. Honestly, I have no clue. It's the first time I'm gonna read this information for you also, so let's see. In North America, X-Men opened on a Friday of 14th of July of 2000 and made $21.4 million on its opening day. This made it the highest opening day of any film, behind Star Wars Episode 1 and The Lost World of Jurassic Park. It also had the tier highest Friday gross, just after the later film of Toy Story 2. Wow, I'm surprised. Well, not that much because the movie is very special, you know? The film earned $57.5 million in its opening weekend, averaging $18,000 per theater. And having the highest grossing opening weekend for a superhero film. At the time of its release, X-Men had the 6th biggest opening of all times, and marked the first time in history that 3 pictures had consecutive opening weekends above 40 million in North America. Just after The Perfect Storm, that made $41.3 million, and a Scary Movie that made $42.3 million. We are talking about that X-Men made $57.5 million in his opening weekend in cinemas. Wow. Moreover, it had the second largest opening weekend of that year, behind Mission Impossible 2. During its second weekend, the film was overtaken by What Lies Beneath, but made a total of $23.5 million. X-Men grossed $157.3 million in the United States and Canada, and in Canada, $139 million in other territories for a worldwide total of $296.3 million, against a production budget of just $75 million, becoming the 8th highest grossing film of the year 2000 domestically and in the 9th place worldwide. The success of X-Men started a reemergence for the comic book and the superhero film genre. Now let's proceed with the critical response. On the review website of Rotten Tomatoes, 82% of 174 reviews are positive, with an average rating of 7 of 10. The site's critical consensus reads, "Faithful to the comics and filled with action, X-Men brings a crowded slate of classic Marvel characters to the screen with a talented ensemble cast and surprisingly sharp narrative focus." Metacritic assigned the film a weighted average score of 74 out of 100 based on 33 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. I mean, I don't think this website's reviews are, I don't know, in those years they infravalorate the movie because the reviews don't don't make sense with the earnings of the movie. Like the movie it break records, right? In those years, right? So far in those years compared to other movies, wow. So I will say I will never like consider watching or not watching a movie by just the reviews of this kind of website by just the reviews of this kind of websites, because I don't know, I think average score of 64 out of 100, and it's also based on very few critics, which are 33 in this Metacritic website. I don't know, I'm not sure about that, I'm not agree with it. The movie is amazing. Audiences surveyed by Cinema Score gave the film an average grade of an A minus on an A plus to F to the F scale, which will be like a B, right? A B grade. Kenneth Turan found so much is happening. You feel the immediate need of a sequel uses a reward for absorbing it all. And well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you really like it as much as I enjoyed doing it for you, as much as I enjoyed how I did it. And let me know what you think about this film. Did it was one of your favorites. Oh my, I'm sorry for this change of lighting, guys, but just the night reached me out, the nighttime, and I'm trying to, improving the quality of my lighting and everything. I'm normally more used to, taping daytime. It's way better for me. I love natural light. I prefer way too much sunlight or daytime light over artificial. But please let me know if this is one of your favorite movies of X-Men, or it was, or which one of all the movies you like the most, and which was your favorite character, or which ones were your favorite characters. Mine, for example, as little was Rogue, because I was little too when I watched it. She was the youngest, I think, or one of the youngest, and she was very sweet, like kind of a little bit shy, I would say, maybe, and the prettiest. In my point of view, when I was little, I consider her the prettiest. But as I grown up, my favorite started being like Jean Grey, the Phoenix, obviously because her powers, like she was in fact the most powerful mutant of all the saga of these comics, of the X-Men history, or the X-Men universe. She is in fact the most powerful mutant of all the guys, according to the rates Magneto gives. They are supposed to have grades, powerness, and according to the movie, she, the Dark Phoenix, well, the Phoenix, or Jean Grey, better known as the Dark Phoenix, she is the more powerful of all, according to the movie. I'm not saying it, okay? And talking about guys, my favorite was Pyro. I mean, he was one of the villains. He ended up turning into the villains group, but he was my favorite. And that's it for this video. I hope you like it. Please subscribe, leave your thumbs up, and see you on the next time.